ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe Grandpa Edition, episode 9. I'm your host of the most, as always, Francois878, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Zhuge auto crossbow. This primary was introduced in update 18.6. It was the second auto crossbow added into the game after the Attica, and was definitely power creeping the Attica a little bit up until very recently, where the Attica got a buff to be a crit crossbow. Now the Zhuge is still an amazing crossbow, and I really like it because it does crit and status fairly well. There's not a whole lot of weapons in the game that can manage both on the same build with any sort of reliability. The Zhuge, however, is one of them. Some quick stats for the weapon: deals 100 physical damage primarily in puncture. It's got a 20% crit chance, 2 times crit multiplier, 35% status chance, 2.5 second reload, 24 rounds in the mag with a 540 round max, 4.17 rounds per second fire rate. Now, this weapon is very solid, like I said, at doing the status and the crit. The crit does leave a little bit to be desired. 20%'s not fantastic, but with my build, I get it up to 50%, and it's a fairly accurate weapon with the build that I have. There is a slight drop to the arrows, but generally there is it's a lot easier than using a bow. There's much less drop. So if you get, with a little bit of practice, you should have no problem hitting headshots with this weapon lickety-split. Now this is just a real quick little preview of a couple of higher level enemies. Corrupted Heavy Gunner, Corpus Tech, and a Ancient Healer, all level 100. Watch just how fast my Zhuge cuts through these guys. Like butter. It's like they're not even there. It's sad. Alright, now that just procced 4 different status effects in 7 bolts. It's a very impressive status weapon, even with only 98.9% status chance. Here's the build. I know there's a Riven on it. That's weird, but the Riven can be replaced with Split Chamber. Now that will tank your accuracy a little bit, but it will get you up to a solid amount of damage. If you want to put a crit mod on there, like Vital Sense or Argon Scope, that's definitely a possibility as well. The rest of the mods on the weapon are pretty basic. We have Shred and we have Point Strike. Shred is great because it offers punch through and fire rate increase, which now crossbows also get the double fire rate bonus from fire rate mods, so you are going to be getting a 60% bonus from Shred, which is great. Point Strike on there, obviously, for your crit chance. Even at just 50% crit chance, I do see plenty of yellow numbers popping up on enemies. This weapon, it's probably a viable that you could get close to 100%, depending on the build that you had, but it'd be tough, and you would lose a lot of elemental damage trying to set that up. The last 3 mods on my build were a 90% elemental damage mod and 2 60% elemental damage, 60% status chance mods. Those are on there to get my status chance for the Zhuge up to 98.9. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Francois, just use 3 60/60s. That way you don't have to forma an extra time, and you can get 100% status chance. And that's because I didn't notice a tremendous difference as far as procs go between 98.9 and 100. I did some tests in the simulator, and honestly, it ended up being that the 360-60 build would require more shots to take down the same enemy than the 90 and 260-60s. So it's up to you guys, honestly, whether or not you want to run the different builds. This is just purely a suggestion for you guys. Now, as far as that Riven goes, if you guys need some replacement ideas for it, if you don't have a Zhuge Riven, Vital Sense is a great idea, especially if you're running crit. You could run that third 60-60 elemental damage mod if you wanted. You could run Heavy Caliber. I don't necessarily recommend it though, because Heavy Caliber tanks the accuracy of this crossbow, and you will not be landing as many headshots as you would like. So I would maybe stay away from Heavy Caliber, or at least run a less than max Heavy Caliber. That wouldn't be a bad idea. But ultimately, it's an open slot, and this is a great crossbow. It's absolutely a fantastic status weapon, and it does crit pretty well as well. It's a really solid crossbow, and I highly recommend you guys take it for a spin. But until next time, folks, I've been your host with most, as always, Francois878, signing off.